Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Healthy Nasti Kitchen podcast. And today I would like to welcome Sam from Melbourne. And if I don't remember wrong, Sam and I had a small conversation on Facebook a few weeks ago, and we've been able to organize this podcast together. And this is just another episode of Talk to Talk, where where I want, with the help of these guests, trying to bring to the surface the issues or the successes that are happening in the hospitality industry, because I really feel a compelling need to bring up these issues with customers, and especially with people like us, like you and I in this case, that have suffered or have achieved great successes in this industry. So if you don't mind spending 1 minute, 60 seconds to introduce yourself to the audience, Sam.
Yeah, sweet. My name's Sam. I've worked in a few hospitality venues across Melbourne, clubs to pubs mostly. Started on Chapel Street, worked at a place there, moved down to a small Mexican restaurant in Preston. Started managing a decently well known heavy metal pub here in Melbourne, which is where my grievances with the industry really started. Since then, I've worked in a couple other places and just a lot of cash in hand, a lot of underpayment. And I think it needs to stop. I think we need to really start looking at hospo voice in the unions. Everyone needs to look at joining that, or at least banding together in some way to leverage the whole industry's interests and needs.
Absolutely.
Leverage the pure numbers there are in the industry. If we just work together, could negotiate some better wages and some better legislation.
Absolutely. Some more support, I would say, either mentally and physically, because I can only talk personally, but the amount of work that we did, the amount of hours that I did, I've calculated a few years ago. I'm only 36 and I only worked in hospitality for 22 years. If I calculate how many hours I worked, I could already be retired 1.5 times.
Yeah, really. One and a half times.
1.5 times I could already be
Jesus.
retired, and I'm only 36 and I've worked only for 22 years. And I've only calculated an average of 10 to 12 hours a day. And trust me, I had weeks where I worked 18 hours a day, and I had weeks where I worked 110 hours in a week. What people do normally in 3 weeks, I did it in 1 week. And I'm not complaining. I'm very glad that I did that, because of course it created what I am today. But with time, these things build up and you don't recognize it until you blow up. And you go into depression, you go into a nerve breakdown, and you just lose it with your family. You break up the family. You have no time for your family. It's terrible. It's terrible. Did you have any personal issue in your short career in the hospitality?
Like mental issues, like wear and tear, just like being worn down from the work. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, but if you have any verbal abuse, physical abuse, monetary abuse.
Not personally, I don't think. I never got abused. There was definitely there's definitely like a lot of moments I can look back on now and say like, yeah, I wish I'd have said something, or I wish I was able to stand up or put my foot down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just weird. Yeah, there's a big power dynamic problem coming from bosses, especially like lower casual workers. When you need that, you're really counting on like a single or maybe two casual jobs to get you through. Paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
You really don't have a lot of wiggle room to make demands,
No,
even if they're in your own interest, to make it easier for you to keep going.
So what made you change going? I don't know. What's your occupation now?
My vocation at the moment is warehousing. I jumped into that over lockdown because it was essential work. So
okay,
it was
awesome.
mostly like the lockdown that allowed me to get out of hospitality.
How old are you now? How old are you?
25. I'm 25.
Oh, you're young. You're young.
Yeah, I'm young. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having the courage first, because it takes balls to share, especially painful moments in life. And I hope this is going to be one of those times where people just wake up and say, I want to share my story. I want to share what I've been through. And I'm clear on this. I also want to hear people that are successful. I want to show both faces of the medal, the good one and the bad one. But I can tell you, I can guarantee, upon my experience, because I've been working in hospitality, such as Michelin star restaurant, head-to restaurant, pizzeria, hotel, luxury hotels in Europe, that even those who have succeeded have suffered. They may have been stronger mentally and physically, and they're going through things, but they have, I guarantee you, they have suffered. They must have broken something. They must have sacrificed more than what I did. But it's terrible. So what's the main difference that you find now to the job that you have now and the job in the bartendering that you were doing before?
The main difference is the hours, dude. Just like a regular 9 to 5 is so, like, coming off hospitality, that kills you.
Yeah.
Like I've come from nightclubs. That was probably the only time like I really did, chef's hours. Because chefs are notorious for working, 12-hour days, doubles all the time, constantly. I don't know how you guys did it. I felt like I had a much easier time in the bar. A lot of the nights, if you work on a Monday or Tuesday night or something behind a bar, you're there for like maybe 5 to 8 hours, and then your day's done. Even though it's at nighttime, like the hours are not optimal for having a normal social life and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It was a lot less, but in the nightclubs, those hours, those shifts just keep going, man. They
kill you. They kill you. Yeah.
They kill you, and you try to have fun. You have as many Red Bulls as you can, or whatever else you want to do. And you dance and you smile, and at the end of the night, it's like 6 a.m, and you feel like death.
Yeah, you're knackered.
That's
you're
probably
destroyed.
the biggest, destroyed. So that's probably the biggest difference, man. Is like the consistency, the routine, the hours, and the stability it affords your lifestyle, I think.
Yeah, I entered the industry because I was very ambitious. I loved to deliver art on a plate, memories on a plate, emotions on a plate. That was my drive. Okay, I wanted to become one of the best. And of course, that has been driving me for 20 years until I lost it. I saw the reality of it, where the money that comes back at the end of the week is not worth the suffering that you're going through, the pain that you're going through. And I only discovered that seeing real revenue of businesses where we are all working like animals, and the boss is only earning $3,000 a week. Are you kidding? So we all working like crazy, and the owner is only earning $3,000 a week. So all that we do here produces $3,000 a week. That wasn't worth it for me. For the amount of work that every single person puts in there, 300 hours a week complexively, altogether, for every single employee. It's not worth it. It wasn't worth it. So I decided to leave it. I'm following my calling, as I say. I think they're not only trying to provide a podcast, a YouTube channel, but I love baking, so I try to chase that, and hopefully I don't fall into the same mistake that I did with the hospitality. But I want to be able to give an example to other people that don't know what to do. They feel trapped. Some people enter this industry, first of all, because they don't know what to do with their lives. Yeah. And second, because they don't actually know what the industry looks like.
Yeah.
And at the end, they find themselves trapped in an industry they never liked, they never wanted to do, but they're now 30, 35, and they are scared to start a new avenue, a new career, when they should be well aware that they still have probably 40 years in front of them to live, to do another career and something like that. So that's one thing. But one of the things that scared me the most was, unfortunately, because we don't have a life in the industry, the amount of toxicity there is through drugs, alcohol, sex, and all of that's involved, because we live at night, and those things happen at night. Yeah. It's much easier to find them. And unfortunately, you get magnetized into that world. It's terrible.
It's especially, yeah, 100%, man. Especially you're running those like, yeah, late night shifts, and you need to stay awake, and it's right there, or you need to perk yourself up for a shift. Like it's right there, man.
Yeah,
I've only worked in one dry bar,
yeah,
really, and even then it was there was quite a big drinking and drugs culture. It
yeah.
happens. It's fraught throughout the industry. It's everywhere. You can't ignore it.
No, and people don't know it. And people don't know it.
No, it's crazy.
It's unknown. They all
Um,
think it's all master chefs. You know, it's like on the TV shows. That's
yeah,
totally crap. The show they actually went the closest to being the reality. It's
yeah.
Boiling Point with Gordon Ramsay. I don't know
Okay,
if
I
you
don't
ever
think I've seen
watched
that
it.
one.
He did a show
No.
in 2000, 2003 when he first
Yeah.
opened his second restaurant that was called Gordon Ramsay. And he really showed how tough there he is, how crazy he went, and how he treated his staff. But if people want to know how the majority of hospitality businesses run, that's the way it's run. And I feel very lucky that I started in at the end of the 90s, at the beginning of 2000, where the big brigade, the teams were still very numerous. We had 16 chefs, 70 chefs in the kitchen. So we were covered. I was working 9 hours a day. That was still acceptable. But then people started cutting stuff and more stuff off. And people get sick and nobody has to cover, so you need to work harder. It's one of those industries where every single dollar has to make another dollar. Otherwise, you will fall, especially in the fine dining sector.
Especially in fine dining, you think?
Yes, yeah, especially fine
Yeah.
dining because the costs are much more because the prime ingredients that you need to purchase, and because there's more wastage as well, a lot of wastage,
Really,
and
there's more
many,
wastage in
especially
fine
the
dining.
younger chef nowadays, they don't know how to use the wastage into a menu.
Yeah.
That's a very big
Yeah.
difficulties, and with time, the fact that people can't drink anymore because they can't drive, which is fair enough. I completely agree with that. But it's really cut the slice of profits that people will get because people stop
Oh,
at drinking one glass of wine, one beer.
yeah. Yeah. And then what do you do with the rest of the bottle, man?
Well, exactly. So it's a very tough gig. It's a very tough gig, and uh, I really hope that some more people are able to share what they've been through because as I said at the beginning, I feel very compelled that new
Mhm.
stuff needs to come to the surface.
Yeah, I can
It's
see that, man.
important.
I can really see that. I think it's awesome what you did. That's why, yeah, as soon as I saw your video, I'm not sure if it was on Melbourne Bartender Exchange or one of those
No,
hospitality
I think
groups
it
on
was Ospo
Facebook
Voice.
pages. Hospo Voice? Hospo
Yeah.
Voice, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and are you big into Hospo Voice? Do
Well,
you
no,
do
I
you like what
just
they do?
so the first episode that I did it on my own, and I was
Yeah.
searching for some information about mental health in the hospitality, and I found this article where they mention the founder of Hospo Voice. I can't remember his name, and I said this guy, I want to reach out to him, and so I went onto his group, Facebook group there, and
Yeah.
I just put an article there where I would like to interview people that have suffered, that are going through tough times in the hospitality. They want to share their story. And you're the first one. I hope that you are that little, hammer that's going to crack the wall and people will slowly come through and share their truth. I'm not
I
afraid,
hope so, man. I
unfortunately.
hope so.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
important that they have to. I mean, that people are afraid, but once they say, they will feel much better. It's like they dropping a heavy piece of stone off their shoulders, I think.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So
I,
now
I
you
like
work
that,
it
man.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah, Monday to Friday, just yeah, yeah, just a lifestyle difference. It's not too bad. I'm actually going to a call center
Yeah.
position soon, I believe. Just
Okay.
talking to a friend of a friend,
Yeah.
hooking me up there. Which it's weird how many industries still operate on the same kind of nepotism as hospitality. Like I feel like if you learn how to get a job in hospo, you can pretty much almost land a job in any other industry
Mm-hmm.
if you just know who to talk to, I guess. Like or you just know how to talk to people. It
Yeah.
just tends to happen. I was terrible at it before I started in hospitality. Now I could probably talk anyone's ear off all day about anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of
Well,
those
that's
things you
something.
pick up.
It's definitely something that hospitality teaches you to have to create not a relationship, just a very short time connection with a person, with a guest, with a customer. You learn psychology unknowingly, subconsciously. You learn how to communicate, which is amazing. So there are good things in the hospitality, and it's a shame that now it's a business that's only needs to produce money. As I said, I think I don't remember if I said it on the podcast last time, but I worked with some of the best maître d' in the world, and they cared. It was like going home to somebody. They will look after you. Now it's everything fast, furious, quick, no quality. Just get it done. Give me your money and go, so I can grab another customer. It's terrible. And look, I want to be wealthy in the future in life. I hope I can achieve that. But I don't think that the only reason somebody needs to do something is because of money. You shouldn't be driven by money, in my opinion, and that's my only opinion. You should find a different desire, something else that will then provide your wealth.
Do you think well, it really comes down to the owners there, doesn't it? Because if you're not there in the industry for that love or for that thing, and you're just there to make money, then you're gonna pay people cash in hand. You're gonna pay them under the table. It's gonna be less than what they actually are worth, and you're gonna do that. You're gonna cut as many corners as possible. So do you think it's do you think that the owners stopped caring, or do you think the industry promotes owners that don't care? I guess
I don't think it's the industry that promotes. I think it's there's a stereotype of idea that think that people that wants to start a business, they will start an hospitality business because they think it's the easier business you can run. And then when they fall into it, they discover that's actually shit, that's hard, that's difficult, that's sacrificing, and that you need to work your ass off to be able to be very, very, very successful. Because the pie is the same size, but the slice that you're getting is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Another issue is that the governments are pushing so hard, so much on this industry, and unfortunately the owner, to be able to make a few bucks, has to pay people cash, has to pay, as you say, as we say in Italian as well, pay people under the table. And there will always be, unfortunately. I remember, when I first came to Australia in 2012, how many people were paying and were paid cash. And I also know that this is a way to make economics move. You need to have the cash around to be able to support different markets. And I'm not talking about black markets. I'm not talking drugs and alcohol. I'm talking about real stuff. People need to go and buy a piece of bread. They need their money. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
It's important to keep that. But I think states should be less pressurizing this industry. They should give them more room of growth. Otherwise, you will always find the same issues. Underpaid people, underpaid personnel, underpaid, unhappy people, unhappy workers. And it really breaks my heart. It shouldn't
How do you
be
think that I think it's terrible as well. I think it's very it's very upsetting to see. You can see it as well when you see an owner of a place that you can tell that some lights left their eyes, because they maybe used to be. They used to have like the vision. I'll be the good one. I'll pay all my staff more than I pay myself. But then they realize over time they got bills, man. They got overheads. You can see it breaks them down a little bit. Do you think when you talk about the governments and stuff, do you think like maybe reducing taxes on alcohols or imports or stuff like that? Like, how do you see that?
They will never change, unfortunately. Because Australia is making a lot of money on it. Because Australians will never stop drinking. Unfortunately, I'm not making. I don't want to be generalized. I don't want to generalize, but what I've seen in my 12 years here, it's a majority of people that work Monday to Friday. They work so hard just to enjoy Friday night and Saturday night, to get drunk, to get smashed, forget about the week, and then start again on Sunday. And that's the culture, unfortunately. But until there is the culture and the government know that they can make money on that, they will never stop, because the government is a money machine. Anyway they can make money, they will. And then they say that they use their money to make goods for us, which is not. They just keep Well, I mean, of course, they fix the roads, they make the gardens, they make the public gardens, they make museums and all of that. But you pay that stuff anyway. We pay to go into a museum.
Yeah, yeah.
We pay
When
the
was the last
roads
time
through
you
the
were at a
petrol
museum?
taxes.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Oh, Rego and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
When was the last time you were at a museum? I can't remember the last time I was at a museum, man. To be honest.
Well, I have
Did it
children.
cost anything?
Yeah, I had children. I was in Melbourne, and I don't remember. I think it was during the school holiday. There was a free period of time. I was in Melbourne at that time because I lived in Melbourne for
Oh,
five and a
nice.
half years
Where'd you live?
in Mornington Peninsula.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. I lived in St Kilda for 8 months, and then when my family came in Australia from Italy, I moved to Rye in Mornington Peninsula, Sorrento.
Oh, lovely.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. A really beautiful spot on earth. You see there, that's probably was the place where I suffered the most because being a seasonal place, everything is more amplified as well. You know, the quiet times are very quiet, almost too boring, but the high times, the high season, it's terribly killing because you need to calculate, you need to make the amount of money to cover your year in those 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. And people don't understand it. And especially customers don't understand it. They sit down, they want everything. But don't you see that there are 250 people sitting at the same time as you? But unfortunately, they don't care. They don't care.
So you had a 250 seated restaurant?
Yeah, in Sorrento.
Damn. And
it's called Italico.
Italico. No way.
Yeah.
And you it's basically 3 months funds your whole year.
Well, basically, yes, it does. And then all the school holidays, the public holidays, that's what boosts it up, what makes you a little money, little profits.
Yeah.
So I used to run the kitchen of a big restaurant there. And it was a wonderful experience. I've learned a lot, but I've worked a lot. One rule of life, it's always... Pardon?
250 people at once, man. That's a lot of dinners.
Yeah. Well, we used to do 1,000 people a day. Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
When did you open?
They opened in 2012, December 2012, and I've been through a few different owners. I've been there for 3.5 years, and then I left. I worked in a few hatted restaurants in Sunshine Coast, in Red Hill, always in Mornington location there, and then I moved to Adelaide, which is a wonderful state, a wonderful city, very family oriented. I like it.
Family oriented.
It's beautiful,
city?
Yeah. South Australia is gorgeous for if you want to raise a family. This is place to be, in my opinion. But I never lived in Western Australia. I never lived in Northern Territory. I never lived in New South Wales, and I never lived in ACT. So I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anything else. But look, I think that there are some important principles for a town, for a city, for a state to be family oriented, and you can see them here in Adelaide. You know, you see the people, you see the culture, and there's a huge food and wine culture in South Australia. People love
a lot of wine,
yeah, they love and know their food.
Oh, so yeah, you'd be loving it, man.
Yeah, it's good, and yes, and I can tell you, I'm
not.
Like
they appreciate it more. Do you feel like they would be willing to pay a little bit more to make
yes.
it, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you need, man, because people I don't think people understand how much things cost these days.
No.
Customers especially, they want, what's your cheapest beer on tap is usually the first question you get, or what specials have you got, like, and it's tough because wages haven't been going up in how long for everyone, not just
everything doubled in the last 2 months apart from wages.
Yeah.
How can people survive? How can people survive?
Yeah. No,
it's impossible.
It's nearly impossible. Yeah.
So it's a burden on society.
One of those, it's one of those leisure industries, right? Like where you take people who aren't in the sector and you try and get them to spend their paycheck on stuff you're providing them as an extra service that they can enjoy if they kind of want. You're not. I don't think it's going anywhere, like you said. I think Aussies are always going to drink, especially. But yeah, it's kind of secondary to the whole economy. Like, tradies get paid, and then tradies go spend their money at hospo places, and then the hospo people get paid.
Exactly.
They're just second in the order of things.
It's a circle of life.
It is the circle of life, man.
It's a circle of
Yeah.
life. It's a different way, you know. Unfortunately, we live in a society with money is food, basically. Money is
Mhm.
everything. Money is shelter. Money is happiness. Money is food. Money is water. Money is clothes. It is the essential. It's that's you can tell. You can say as much as you want. Money doesn't buy you happiness, but I believe that's bullshit. Because
It's
unfortunately,
total bullshit.
everything is controlled by money, and unfortunately, humans are very affected by the material things around them.
Yeah, yeah,
There's only a
100%.
few that can spiritually very awake and know, okay, I don't need money. I can decide I'm going to the bush tomorrow and I'll survive with whatever Earth will provide. You can do that. Nobody's gonna stalk you. Nobody's gonna ask you to come back because there's enough people paying taxes.
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
that something you'd want to do? Go off grid, just disappear into the bush?
exactly. That's it. Forget about internet and social media and go and go.
Yeah, man.
How how did you find the job in the warehousing?
She's a friend of a friend. Friend's sister had a job there. They needed some help out. Um, they had a big contract manufacturing job they needed done where
Mm-hmm.
they supplied like barbecue rubs to Bunnings, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had to just process all that. I jumped on for the 2 or 3 weeks they were doing that, and then afterwards they were kind of like, yeah, do you want to stick around? And I said, yeah, and that was probably about over just a bit over a year ago.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, and
You know,
yeah, and they paid for my forklift license. They trained me up. They taught me, what they needed me to do, what they wanted from me, stuff like that. There was no power dynamic pulling like I
mm-hmm.
saw in hospo. Like I never felt
Politics.
threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that. None of that. And another thing I never see as well in hospo, at least not from where I've been, is there's no investment in training people up. There's because there's no tickets. It's unskilled labor, even though you have to be incredibly skillful to be good at it. There's no investment in your employees. When are you going
No.
to say, hey, let me pay for your training to go do this, or hey, let me even just out of their time, like, oh, let's have a few moments together, and I'll take you over the menu. I saw none of that when I was in hospitality, except for maybe the first venue I was at. I was very lucky. They're a fantastic venue, Temperance Hotel down on Chapel Street.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely team. When I got there, it was beautiful. We had regular training sessions where new wine menu comes out. There's a little bit of we're having some wines on a Wednesday arvo with all my workmates. It's a bit cheeky, and so there is a bit of that alcohol culture there. But there was really time taken to train people up, to invest in their employees in that sense. I think that made for a higher quality team. And I think the time I was there, it was really popping off. It was going really well. And I think part of that was that strong culture of support, and from the support from the top down, where the bosses would be like, yeah, you're basically family here. And they were like, so many people would like go, because hospo is a big backpacker culture as well. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people coming in and out of the country and going straight in and out of hospo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People sharing houses, making sure everyone's good for food and good for rent. People would crash on each other's couches all the time, and yeah, it was just really tight knit and lovely. And I haven't seen that much since. I think that's what this thing is lacking as well. This whole industry.
I think you touched a very important point there. Training, it's lacking everywhere now, and one of the reasons is the lack of money, because you can't afford to spend one person training another person. You need to learn by working, basically. You make
Yeah,
mistakes, probably 70% of the time you get told off, so you lose the
yeah,
keenness to take that extra step and trying to be, I can't remember how to say in English, but to use your creativity, but you also your initiative. Yeah, you lose that because you're afraid of making mistakes, and which is one of the things that we should embrace. We should embrace mistakes because that's the shortcut to be successful. The more mistakes you make, I'm not saying that you need to repeat the same mistakes, but the most amount of mistakes you make you become a better professional and a better human being.
No doubt.
because you
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
what's wrong and what's right. And that's the same way, when we are children, when we just born, 8, from 5 months to 12, 13, 18 months, we slide on the bed, we start crawling on the bed, we start slowly stepping with the aid of something else, and then we walk, and then we fail, and then we walk, and then we fall, and then we walk, and we keep doing that. We don't care what people say, because nobody tells you, oh, stop walking because otherwise you're gonna fall. No, good boy,
Yeah.
good girl, keep walking, try, and you're there helping and supporting it. That's the way the whole life should go. That's the
Yeah,
way a
it's trial
chef
and
should be.
error.
That's the way. Exactly. And what you just said, it's so important. If there is an owner now listening to this podcast, just do the extra mile. Just take if you can afford to do the training, the proper training, if you can afford to hire the right people, do it. Because
Of
skills
course. Yeah.
are never overpaid. You pay for people that have been in the business for many years, that can share their knowledge, and that's gonna grow your business. It's not gonna cripple it. It's gonna make it grow. It's gonna make it
100%.
successful. And as
100%.
you said
Yeah.
before, you noticed it. You were young, probably. You were 22, and you noticed the difference between a place where they invested in training and places where they didn't invest in training, where they probably hired only backpackers.
Yeah. Yeah. No one. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Yeah. Only. Yeah.
And
And it
hospitality
sucks.
is a
Yeah,
big
like
slice of the economy.
it is. It's massive. It's massive, but
People
it
don't know,
operates
people
in
don't understand. But you said before, you know, people work and then they spend money in renting, in buying cars, in moving around Australia, in supporting farmers, fishing industry, mining industry. People don't think about that. So thank you for bringing that up. It's amazing.
Well, yeah,
It's
I think
important.
it's important. And yeah, if you are an owner listening to this, if you own a venue, and training doesn't have to cost money, man. It's just time. Share your passion with the people you're employing, and that is some of the most important training they'll ever receive. You know, if you're really, I had one manager, and we were just rewriting the cocktail menu. He had
Mm-hmm.
come up with a new cocktail for the summer menu, and he was a wizard, man. Absolute flavor wizard. Made me want to really learn, because I got in there. I was a bussy. I was picking up glasses at the start,
Mm-hmm.
but like seeing him work on his stuff made me want to. I want to make cocktails. I want to make the best damn cocktails. I want to pump them out quick, and they're going to be pretty too. And they're going to taste like magic, because that's what this guy was doing, and he was a
Yeah.
legend. Um, and he comes up to me one day with like these two glasses. They're like almost exact same looking drinks. He's like, taste this one. This is what I've been working on for the new menu. And I taste it, and it's awesome. It's amazing straight away. And he gives me the second one, and it's even better. And he goes, guess what the difference is? And I sat down there, and he looked at all the different bottles on the shelf. He's like, guess what's different? And we sat probably like 15 minutes just talking about what was different. And he goes, it's 10 mil of green chartreuse. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
added. That's all I added. And to me, that was like opened up. Like all my brain started firing. I was like, if such a small thing can make such a massive difference, and like
Mm-hmm.
that was very integral to like my appreciation of the cocktail art, and that was just him sharing something that he was proud of in his
Mm-hmm.
work, just for a small moment, and that left a lasting impact to where I'm telling the story now, 5 or 6 years later. So like it can just be something as small as that, man. A little bit of praise goes a long way too.
Absolutely,
Think
absolutely. That's very important. Something that I want to share now. Well, first of
Mhm.
all, people can really inspire. People
Yeah,
can
yeah.
really inspire, and this guy inspired a spark in you, which is amazing. And also, we have other. I want owners to listen to this one. Make sure you praise in public and you tell off in private, because you don't want to hurt the feelings of people. That's important. I always did that when I was in a place or role of leadership. You always praise in public, because you enhance the keenness of other people to do the same. Why did that guy go praised? I want to be the same. I want to receive that praise too. So they all work harder and harder and harder. But if you start just being a rude piece of poo, Nobody will like to work with you. Nobody will,
No, exactly. Yeah,
because they
no.
will be
No
afraid
one's
of
gonna want to
everything
work
they
with
will
you.
do. So praise in public and tell off in private. You don't even have to tell off. You need to speak to them and let them understand what they did wrong, what they can
Hmm.
improve. How would you improve? And then listen. Hold meetings with your staff. Try to listen to their ideas, because sometimes when you are stuck in one spot, one place, you have no ideas.
Yeah,
You have no
yeah.
understanding of how can we implement it, because you're so used to it and you just want it that way. But other eyes, other ears, other minds can really help you grow. They show you what you can't see.
What do you think that is that they can't see? Like, what?
Just because you're used to the
Just
same,
different
and
ideas? Yeah.
it's just comfort. Humans are lazy by nature. We are lazy. We just want to do the least
Bare
amount of
minimum.
work for the best
Yeah.
amount of outcome. That's it. We
Yeah.
all are. You can tell. I am. You are. Everybody is. I mean, I would be very happy to be paid to stay at home easily.
Yeah, me too.
Everybody would. It's all bullshit that
Yeah.
people say, "No, I'd rather go to work." No, you don't. I'm sure that you can get, if you can get the same amount of money that you do by working just by sitting with your ass on the couch, you would do that. That's because we are lazy naturally. That's why we became so smart. That's why we implemented so much technology. That's why we implemented AI. That's why we implemented so many things. It's not only
Saves
because of
time,
saving
saves
money.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Saves
exactly.
effort.
But it's not a bad thing to be lazy. Bill Gates used to say, "I'd rather hire a lazy person than a smart person, because the lazy person will achieve the same result in less amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit, no way.
So it's going to
Yeah.
become more efficient and more profitable for the business."
Do you think because I've seen, not really, it's not a huge threat to the industry, I think, yet, but I think people are kind of aware of it
Yeah,
in from like down the track, that maybe automation might be
yeah,
threatening to the industry. What do you think
yeah.
about that?
Well,
Like, do you think
honestly,
we're
a
gonna
few
see
years.
we're gonna get replaced by vending machines or
Well, no, I don't think there will be vending machine, because people still want to go out. I can see it's lovely to go out. Even though
Mhm.
we are locked at home and they're trying to force it, as soon as you go out once, you want to do it again, because it's lovely. It's lovely to be looked after. It's lovely to go out and maybe on a date. It's lovely to take your date out. It's lovely to take your kids out. It's lovely. It's not only because you don't want to do something, but it's nice to be looked after. It's like going to somebody else's house. You love to go
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah, yeah.
company, because of they look after you, or they when they come to your place, you look after them. But I think a few years back, I hated robots in the kitchen or in the bars, but I think that's the future to go, because they
Yeah.
could actually they could actually save the hospitality industry in a good way.
Yeah.
They could save on the fact that these people can take a day off with their families, because
Yeah.
there's something there, a machinery that can do the same job. It won't have the same palate, that's for sure. There will always be head chef and chef de partie making the menus, making the dishes, tasting the dishes. But I think a support of more machinery will be amazing to the industry. Will be a very good support. You know, I believe so. It will definitely make some people lose their jobs, but some chef
Mhm.
can definitely lose their jobs for the quality that they put on the plate. They don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
They rather do something else. They rather die than being cooking again.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it's terrible. So I think machines, robots, AI will be a good addition to the industry. Not scary.
Do you think
I've seen.
do you think those chefs don't want to be there? Do you think that's like dead weight to the industry? Do you think they'd be better off going and pursuing other things that they might be
Absolutely.
more interested in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it also give you the opportunity to see something else, maybe deciding to go back because you love your job, your chefing job for much more.
Hmm.
But you need to prove other things. You shouldn't be scared of trying other things. We shouldn't. That's why I tell my
Yeah.
kids, you want to change job in 2 years? Change it. I don't care. But
Mm.
give your
How old
best.
are you?
Give your best. So I'm 36. My kids are 13, 12, and 8.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you
It's
13-year-old is gonna be looking at working soon, or
Well, I made
you
him
gonna wait till
start a
after
few
high
months
school?
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a cafe. but I didn't enjoy it anymore. I didn't like it. I didn't want him to go and fall into that easy way of start working. I don't want him to. Look, he's a good basketball player. I think if he could be more focused on it, he could become a good basketball player. I don't know at what level, but he's got the skills and he's got the drive. But unfortunately, he's a little lazy, as every teenager.
Yeah.
I just wanted to sit on the phone and yeah, I was the same until I was 13, 14, and then I found this passion that was cooking, and all I was thinking was cooking, creating flavors. And then when you are 23, 24 and you're writing menus and people ask you, how can you write a menu without even tasting things? Because you know the flavor. The flavor is in your mind. You don't need to taste it anymore. You just need to taste if they are balanced afterwards, you know? And that's the beauty of it. That's what really fascinates. And then the beauty of the dish, what people can create, the art pieces, you know? But it is what it is. And now I'm happy to bring happiness to others. Maybe one day I'll be teaching cooking to other people. I have a lot of knowledge to keep it to myself. So I've written a baking books last year. Now I'm writing a second one, and I want to do more. I want to do more for young chefs to understand that it's a sacrificing industry, but it can be also very rewarding if you are ready to suffer and to sacrifice part of your life.
Yeah, I think that's the same with any career or job, really.
Exactly.
But I think hospitality maybe needs to be taken more seriously by other trades, and stuff needs to be not be just categorized as unskilled labor, because maybe there needs to be a ticket involved, maybe it's not as serious as an apprenticeship or something like that. Maybe it is. Well, who knows? Well, chefing is.
Yeah.
Chefing is an apprenticeship already.
It is indeed.
Yeah, I don't know if that exists in other aspects of hospitality. I've heard of people going for.
Well, in Italy we do have
hospitality management.
Yeah, in Europe we have, you need to go through degrees even as a waiter or a waitresses.
Really?
You do the same thing, apprenticeship as a waiter or waitress, and as a chef, a pastry chef. What else? Baker. Let's see. I think he stops there. Yes, I don't think there is apprenticeship for pizza chefs. They just a cook as well. But I think a biggest mistake in Australia is that when you finish cooking school, you become a chef. In any other country, apart from Australia, you become a chef when you run the kitchen.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Otherwise, you're just a cook. Which that makes you feel more
extra bit of
chef
something to achieve after you've already gone out of your schooling.
Yeah, chef means chief.
Yeah.
When you got out of school, you're chief or nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you're struggling to hold in a knife. How to use it? What's the purpose of the knife? You know. Now you see chefs they use the same knife for everything. When I started cooking school, we had a knife for every single different use: meat, fish, vegetables, turning. Pairing, chopping, slicing, bread, tomatoes. And that was the beauty of it. Even if I start mentioning different sizes of cuts, brunoise, mirepoix, julienne, there's so many different things. If you ask them now, to the apprentices, can you slice the tomato julienne? Can you slice the zucchini brunoise? They look at you and say, what's that? But that's the language that was spoken in every single restaurant around the world. It wasn't Italian, it wasn't English, it was French. A demi-glace, a consommé, a fumé, a bisque, all of this stuff. This is an international language that we learn when we do cooking school. And that's wonderful. That was the beauty of it. So, yes, I think, as you said before, if there are some tickets, they can probably be related to specialization. Like, I did the Y card when I got depressed. Because I said I want to change. Yep. And that gave me the opportunity to start being a tradie. But I can't use a forklift. I can't work in confined spaces. I can't work at night. I can't work in heights. I need to do the tickets for that. But if you are a chef and you're learning, You can work on fish section. You can work on meat section. You don't need any ticket for that. You can just do it, which is wrong. I think that your idea actually could be a very good idea to implement into the industry. First of all, we give more money to the entity that will provide this ticket. They could be government ruled. The government, the state can create them, like TAFE now, or they can be private, like I did in Italy. I went to a private cooking school.
Really? How's that work?
Yeah.
Same way?
Yeah, it's the same thing as TAFE, but you live there, you cook for yourself. The class that's meant to do the cooking lesson that day cooks for the whole school.
Oh,
and they all eat the same thing. And part of that class does the cleaning, does the washing, does the different section, which is amazing. Does the pastry section, entree section, meat section, pasta section, whatever that is. And the same is the waitress. There's somebody that cleans the glasses, somebody that washes the plates, and somebody that does the serving. And then the person that only cleans the table, the person that only delivers the food on the table, the person that does the Garridon service, the console service, all of these beautiful things. And there's also the bar section where people learn how to make coffees, people learn how to make the cocktails and so on. There's a school for that too. And yes, so cool. I believe that it's a wonderful idea, the one that you had. Impressive.
Yeah, something needs to be made legitimate, man. Yeah, because it's all, a lot of it's so, black market. Not black market, but the way that it goes, cash in hand, under the table. There's nothing, needs to be recognized more. I feel the work is worth more than cash in hand. I think it's worth more than
Yeah, well, hospitality is one of the lowest paid industry in Australia.
Yeah, and they have one of the.
It's terrible.
There's no union membership, man.
Yeah,
I think that's got a big part of it. You look at CFMEU, like it's so surprising in Australia, especially with our strong history of unions. Like the Eureka Stockade was supposedly one of the biggest moments in our history, where people said, "No, we're not going to work under these conditions.
Yeah,
we are going to not work until we get the conditions we want."
Yeah, I think hospo workers should strike, rebel. But unfortunately, because most of the hospitality industry are private businesses, there's many families that are going to suffer. Unfortunately, they're not like, if you work as a tradie, you mainly work for big companies. It's very hard that you find family companies. And even if there are family companies, they're pretty big because they started in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Very small companies now, they're probably working one or two people. You have the owner, an apprentice, and they slowly grow. But it could take you 5 years, like 10 years. Every industry is hard. I'm not saying that, but to have some support, even you have fair work now. Okay, you can go to fair work, but then if you go to fair work, you're risking that nobody else is going to hire you because you have the past of being somebody that betrayed the business because you went to fair work because you didn't have enough money. That's nonsense. That's abusing.
It is nonsense. It is. And I'm someone who's been to Fair Work. I'm still trying to get some money out of a certain someone that owes me wages from.
And you should fight for it.
2019. I continue to fight for it, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about. And
don't let it go. Don't let it go. I lost money.
Exactly. Don't ever let it go. If you're out there, you're not getting paid enough. Don't be afraid of going to Fair Work. Talk to your other workmates about it as well. When I did it, I had maybe 2 or 3 people at the same place who were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it with you. We're gonna do the same thing," and none of them followed it up. I even tried to sit down, help them, write out the hours, keep a logbook. But Fair Work isn't designed in a way that makes it easy for you to get your money, or makes it easy for people to be stopped when they're providing these working conditions for you. It's not made to be effective. It's basically a big toothless tiger. Yeah. And that's unfortunately what I found out going through Fair Work, because I went to Fair Work and in my brain, I didn't understand the system yet. I hadn't been through it. I thought they would take care of the whole thing, and that's not the case. All they can do is mediate. They just set up a meeting with you and your employer, and they say, "Hey, Sam here thinks you owe him some money. What do you have to say about that? And of course, your employer, if they're dodgy enough, they're going to be like, of course, no, I don't. Of course, I don't owe him any money or
Yeah,
you any money. They're going to say that. And then once that's
of
done,
course.
all Fair Work can do is say, well, we tried, but your only option now is to go to court. And now you're
And then you
stuck
need
in
to spend
court.
money.
Yeah, yeah. Or
And you know,
actually, if you are in this position, look up Justice Connect,
okay,
because they are some volunteer lawyers and they do great work. They help me
that's
so
amazing.
much with my case. Yeah, it's absolutely, they're doing such good work for, well, not specifically hospo,
Yeah,
but for anyone
everybody.
who is
Yeah, Justice
underrepresented.
Connect.
Yeah, Justice Connect.
Amazing. That's thank you for sharing that.
Oh, of course, yeah, because I've struggled so much with this case. I want to make sure that anyone who's in this position, especially in hospitality, because that's where I came from, and that's where it happened to me, and that's where I see it happening to other people as well. They need to know how to get through it, man, because there's no clear-cut path on getting your money back, or
No.
for getting justice in any way, or for making sure they can't do that to someone else. It's not easy. It's a full uphill battle the whole way. After I got my court order that stated in no unclear terms that this money is owed to this person from this person, it's still hard to get your money after that. I went to a private debt collector. I paid $500 or $600 for this guy to find my money. That was a total wrong move, and I had no idea. Now I'm back up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. I'm back going to Justice Connect. I'm saying, hey, what do I do now? And they're helping me yet again.
Okay.
Because it's the bureaucracy of the justice system is not set up to.
It's not set up for people that don't have money. That's the biggest issue.
Don't have money
I worked with
or amazing
someone.
expertise.
I'm so upset about this. I worked with someone that literally said to me that if anybody will ever go to court with this owner, he would have enough money to defeat anybody, so he's not worried. That's terrible.
Yeah,
how can you say that? So what else can you do then?
God. Yeah, I remember actually. Yeah, funny you say that. When I had my mediation with my old boss, my old employer, the first time we did the phone meeting, he told me, he said, you know what, I'm going to take the money that I owe you, I'm going to spend it on a lawyer, and you're never going to see it. And I was like, whoa, how could you just say that? Like, that's so crazy to me.
And that's the problem.
Which is also silly because it was small claims court, and like you have to represent yourself. Like there's no lawyers involved.
Yeah. It's terrible. That's one of the. I'm not against capitalism, but that's one of the issues about capitalism. If you have money, you have power, which shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case. Power should be distributed for your mental capability, for your intelligence, for your emotional intelligence. Not because you are rich, not because you can pay the best lawyer in the world. That's so bloody unfair. That's so bloody unfair because you can afford it and I can afford it. That's not justice. That's not democracy. That means that we have not the same rights. We don't have the same rights.
Yeah.
Who has money has the higher rights, has my higher probability of being successful yet again.
Yeah, exactly. And like, what if you get slapped with a fine, you know, and you're a millionaire, who cares? That's just the cost of what it does to do something illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
You get hit with even like the craziest, like, you know, VCGLR, like licensing fines that you could get, or what was the peak of COVID? It was something like $20,000 to $200,000 fine if you weren't following all the rules. There's got to be places that just opened and just, yeah, all right, we'll pay it if it comes. Like, if it happens, we'll just pay it. Doesn't matter.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But what can you do, man? Like, it's things are set up that way.
Well, if you believe in God and believe in universe, you definitely have hope in a supreme justice, you know. But for those who don't believe, unfortunately, you're lost. You have nothing to hold yourself onto. You know, so you are just drifting away in the ocean with no safe, with no boat, with no piece of wood to hold on to. You're really drifting away, merrily scraping the bottom. That's it. And it's a hard reality. It's a very hard reality. That's why we need to do something. That's why I feel like I hope that one day this podcast can reach the right ears, the ears of people that really need to say something, and people that wants to change something. I'm sure there is people within the industry that wants to change it. They wants to change it for their own benefits, and they wants to change it for other people's benefits. Because at the end, when you care about others, everybody will be better. Everybody will be better. Your business will benefit, the people that work in your business will benefit, and your customer will benefit. It's just, as I said before, the circle of life.
Yeah.
We all need to eat at the end. So if we do that kindly and fairly, it will be much easier for everybody. I do believe, I really truly believe in a better world. Even though the circumstances are showing that it's very complicated, but you know, after every storm, the sun shines again. The sun never leaves us. It's always there. So we need to believe in that. And I think on this note,
Things will get better.
exactly. But you know, Gandhi used to say, be the change you want to see in the world. It's very as simple as that. I can't make you change, but I can make myself change. And my change can inspire other people change. That's it.
Hopefully, man. I think so. I think so as well. Like, you inspired me to come out and, you know, talk to you. That's something.
And that's amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. And if you would like to share your, you know, if you have Instagram, if you have people that would like to reach out to you, if you want to share your outlets, you can now.
Oh, beauty.
Feel free to do it.
Yeah, I have a little website that I run. It's chuckshaksy.com. I have a band that's called
Awesome.
Brand. Yeah, I like to make music and stuff. As far as hospitality stuff, I float around venues every now and then. If you have any rock star shifts, let me know. I still like to
Awesome.
get behind a bar every now and then. And if you're in a position at work where you're being treated badly or poorly, unfairly, just don't be afraid to stop it. You have a lot more power than you think, and get all your workmates involved. Just give a shit. You know,
Yeah.
don't just take it. And if you see something in your venue where you work that you don't like, or you think could even just be done a little bit better, just fucking say it, man. Life's too short to not.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, Giuseppe.
Thank you so much
having me, man.
it was a really pleasant conversation, and you seem like a very good dude, and you seem like to have a very good heart, and keep being who you are. Chase your dreams always. And if you want to plug again your music band, if you want to plug again your website, please share everything that you can share. Send me some notes as well. Maybe send me your direct website so I can put it on the links below. Send me your anything that you want to share with the audience. And how people can give you a little support, and they can find some inspiration in your content, in your music as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're called Brand. We play loud, heavy punk rock music, man. It's Brand Band AU on Instagram. Their website is chuckshaksy.com. So Chuck and then shake sy.com. And you can find all my music stuff on there as well. Thank you though for having me again, man. It was good.
My pleasure. You see, there's always something worth at the end. We all gain something. We all gain something. If you're kind, if you're gentle, if you're caring, people will understand that. People will see it, and I'm sure that people will see your face and they will listen to your words, and they will be aware that, you know, through hard times, at the end, diamonds are created under pressure. So that's how I would like to end it. And we all are little diamonds. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.